You know that feeling, right? The one where you're working hard, earning a decent income, maybe even more than you ever thought you would, but you still feel like you're just treading water financially. You look at your bank account at the end of the month and wonder where it all went. The paycheck came, the bills were paid, but there's no cushion, no real sense of progress. It's a frustrating, deflating cycle that so many of us are trapped in. We have this vague idea that we should be better with money, but it feels like a chore, a burden, a constant source of stress. The thought of managing our finances feels less like an opportunity for freedom and more like a tightrope walk where one slip means disaster. For years, the standard advice has been to budget. And I mean really budget, the kind of budgeting where you have to meticulously track every single penny. You get out a spreadsheet or an app and you create categories: rent, groceries, transportation, entertainment. Then you set strict limits. You promise yourself you won't go over $50 on dining out this week, or that you'll only spend $20 on coffee. It sounds so logical on paper. It's the responsible thing to do. So you try it. You're motivated for the first few days, maybe even a week or two. You feel a sense of control, a small victory every time you log a transaction and see that you're still in the green. But then life happens. An old friend calls and wants to grab dinner. You have a terrible day at work, and the thought of cooking dinner is just too much, so you order takeout. Your car needs an unexpected repair. Suddenly, your carefully crafted categories are blown to pieces. The strict limits you set feel like they're suffocating you. You feel guilty, like you failed. And because of that feeling of failure, you often throw in the towel completely. You think, what's the point? I'm just not good with money. You revert back to your old habits, back to that feeling of financial anxiety because the system you were told to follow was too rigid, too restrictive, too demanding of a lifestyle that simply isn't realistic for most people. The traditional budget is a financial straitjacket, plain and simple. It's built on a foundation of scarcity and restriction. It tells you what you can't have, where you can't spend, and what you're doing wrong. It's designed to make you feel like you're constantly fighting against your own desires, which is an exhausting and unsustainable battle. This approach is rooted in the belief that financial success is about deprivation, about saying no to the things you enjoy. But who wants to live like that? Who can sustain a lifestyle of constant self-denial? The very word budget itself often comes with a negative connotation. It's something you do when you're in trouble, a punishment for past overspending. It doesn't inspire hope or build a positive relationship with your money. Instead, it fosters resentment. You resent the budget for not letting you buy that new jacket you've been eyeing or for making you feel bad about buying a coffee on the way to work. This negative emotional connection is the real reason why so many of us fail at traditional budgeting. It's not a lack of willpower, it's a flawed system. But what if there was another way? A way to manage your money that feels less like a diet and more like a healthy lifestyle. A system that doesn't tell you what you can't have, but instead helps you prioritize what you truly want. This is the heart of the conscious spending plan. It's a complete paradigm shift from the restrictive, punitive nature of traditional budgeting. It's not about tracking every single penny. It's not about rigid categories and punishing yourself for overspending. It's about being intentional. It's about making deliberate choices with your money, aligning your spending with your values, and creating a financial life that supports the life you actually want to live. Instead of focusing on deprivation, we focus on permission. Permission to spend on the things that truly bring you joy, while strategically cutting back on the things that don't. This approach is liberating because it acknowledges that we are human. We will make impulsive purchases. We will want to treat ourselves. A conscious spending plan builds in the flexibility to do so without derailing your entire financial life. Imagine a financial system that isn't about counting every dollar, but about allocating your income in a way that feels empowering. We're moving from a mindset of "I have to save" to "I get to invest in my future." We're shifting from "I can't spend money on this" to "I am choosing to spend my money on something else that is more important to me." The language itself is a reflection of this fundamental difference. A budget is a constraint. A conscious spending plan is a guide.
It helps you navigate your financial landscape with purpose and clarity. It's a tool for self-discovery as much as it is a tool for financial management. By examining where your money goes, you learn about your own habits, your values, and your true desires. Do you spend a lot on dining out? Is that because you love the experience of trying new restaurants, or is it because you're too tired to cook dinner at home? The conscious spending plan asks these kinds of questions, encouraging you to dig deeper and understand the why behind your spending. This is a far more powerful and sustainable approach than simply telling yourself no. The genius of this plan is that it's not just a set of rules, it's a framework for a healthy relationship with money. It's about building trust in yourself and your ability to manage your finances responsibly, without the constant need for external enforcement through a rigid spreadsheet. It recognizes that money is a tool, a resource to be used to create the life you want, not a source of anxiety and guilt. When you start to view your money in this way, you stop seeing it as something that you need to control with an iron fist and start seeing it as a partner in your journey. You become the CEO of your own financial life, making high-level decisions rather than getting bogged down in the minutia of every single transaction. This is where true financial freedom begins, not with deprivation, but with intentionality. We are going to build a system that will allow you to say yes to the things that matter and to do so with confidence and without regret. We're going to move beyond the limitations of the traditional budget and step into a world where managing your money feels not like a chore, but like a deeply satisfying and rewarding act of self-care. This is the foundation we need to build. This is the first step on the path to a healthier, happier, and more intentional financial life.
Think about a time you tried to go on a strict diet. You know the one. No sugar, no carbs, no fun. For the first few days, you're on a high. You're feeling virtuous. You're logging every salad and every glass of water. You tell yourself, this is it. This time, it's going to work. But then, a friend's birthday party comes up. There's a beautiful cake, and everyone's having a slice. You're faced with a choice. Stick to your rigid plan and feel like the odd one out, or have a piece of cake and feel a wave of guilt like you've completely failed. More often than not, that one piece of cake turns into a full-on binge, and by the next day, you've completely abandoned the diet and feeling worse than when you started. You see the diet not as a path to health, but as a punishment, something that takes away your joy. This is exactly what happens with traditional budgeting. The moment we feel restricted, the moment we feel like money is controlling us instead of the other way around, we rebel. We feel like we're being punished for our past spending habits. We're told we have to say no to a night out with friends, no to that new gadget, no to the small luxuries that make life enjoyable. The budget becomes a prison, and our spending becomes a way of breaking free, even if it's a self-destructive kind of freedom. We view our finances through a lens of scarcity and limitation. We're so focused on what we can't have that we lose sight of what we can achieve. This mindset isn't just a small problem, it's the single biggest reason why most people fail to get a handle on their money. It's an emotional and psychological battle, and until we win that battle, no spreadsheet or budgeting app will ever be enough. The numbers don't matter if your mindset is working against you. The core of this problem is a fundamental misunderstanding of what a conscious financial life is all about. We've been conditioned to believe that discipline is about deprivation. We think that being good with money means living a life of self-denial. But true financial discipline is about intentionality, not restriction. It's about making deliberate choices that align with your deepest values and long-term goals. Imagine a different scenario. You're planning your week and you know you have that friend's birthday party coming up. Instead of seeing the cake as a forbidden fruit, you decide beforehand that you'll have a slice. You consciously make the decision to enjoy it, and you do so without guilt. You're in control. You've given yourself permission. This is the mindset shift we need to apply to our money. Instead of seeing a budget as a list of no's, we need to see it as a plan of yeses. This shift in perspective is everything. It's the difference between feeling trapped and feeling empowered. When you stop thinking of your money as a problem to be solved and start thinking of it as a tool to be used, you change your entire relationship with it. Your money is a resource, a powerful one at that. It can be used to build a life you love, to create security for yourself and your family, and to pursue your passions. But to do that, you have to be the one in the driver's seat. You have to be the one giving the orders, not the other way around. Traditional budgeting puts the money in control. The strict numbers tell you what you can and can't do. A conscious spending plan puts you back in control, allowing you to tell your money where to go and what to do for you. It's a fundamental difference in power dynamics. You are the boss. Your money is your employee, and you get to delegate its tasks. Think about the feeling of saying no to a coffee shop trip because your budget says you can't. Now imagine consciously deciding to pack a thermos of coffee from home because you've decided that the money you save will go toward a weekend getaway you're planning. In the first scenario, you feel deprived. In the second, you feel empowered. You're not saying no to coffee, you're saying yes to a future experience. This is the heart of the mindset shift. We're not taking things away, we're reallocating resources toward what truly matters. We're trading a temporary, often fleeting moment of satisfaction for a lasting, meaningful one. This is about prioritizing your values. Do you value convenience more, or do you value experiences? Do you value a designer brand name, or do you value the security of a growing savings account? There are no right or wrong answers, but the key is that you're asking yourself these questions and making conscious decisions based on your unique values, not on a generic spreadsheet that tells you to cut back on everything. This mindset shift is so powerful because it taps into a deeper level of motivation. When we're motivated by fear or guilt, the fear of being broke, the guilt of overspending, our motivation is fragile and unsustainable. It's like trying to run on an empty tank. But when we're motivated by our goals and our values, our motivation is boundless. We're running on a full tank, powered by our own desires and dreams. We're not running away from something, we're running towards something. This is what makes a conscious spending plan so effective. It's not about forcing yourself to do something you don't want to do. It's about aligning your actions with your deepest desires. When your spending is in harmony with your values, managing your money becomes a source of joy and purpose, not a source of stress and dread. Let go of the idea that managing your money has to feel like a punishment. It doesn't. In fact, it's the exact opposite. True financial freedom isn't about having $1 million in the bank. It's about having the ability to make choices that serve you, to spend without regret, and to know that you are in complete control of your financial future. This freedom begins not in a spreadsheet, but in your mind. It starts with the simple act of choosing to see your money not as a master, but as a loyal servant. It begins with the understanding that when you are intentional with your spending, you are giving yourself permission to live a richer, more meaningful life on your own terms. We're not going to be bound by the chains of guilt and restriction anymore. We're going to build a new financial reality, one that is built on a foundation of confidence, clarity, and most importantly, freedom. Remember how we talked about dieting versus a healthy lifestyle? Think of a traditional budget as a crash diet. It's an extreme, temporary measure that focuses on cutting out everything you love. You might see some quick results, but it's miserable and ultimately unsustainable. You feel deprived, you get frustrated, and you eventually give up, often ending up in a worse place than when you started. A conscious spending plan is the financial equivalent of a healthy lifestyle. It's not about temporary deprivation, but about a sustainable, long-term approach to your financial well-being. It's about being mindful of what you consume, financially speaking, so that you feel good, have energy, and can thrive for years to come. It's a way of nourishing your financial life instead of starving it. The philosophy behind a conscious spending plan is built on three core pillars: intentionality, prioritization, and permission. It's a complete shift from "can I afford this" to "is this purchase serving my goals?" It recognizes that money isn't just about numbers on a spreadsheet. It's a reflection of your values, your dreams, and your daily life. Instead of starting with what you can't spend, we start with what you want to spend. We begin with the big picture of your financial life and work our way down. This approach is liberating because it centers around you, your goals, your lifestyle, and your unique situation, not a one-size-fits-all rigid template. It's a proactive, not reactive way of managing your money. You are the architect of your financial life, and this plan is the blueprint you get to design. So, how does a conscious spending plan actually work? It's fundamentally different from traditional budgeting in its structure and its spirit. A traditional budget often starts by telling you what your monthly expenses should be. It dictates that you should only spend X% on housing, Y% on groceries, and Z% on entertainment. It's a top-down approach that feels like someone else is telling you how to live your life. It's a system of rules that you are expected to follow, and if you deviate, you feel like you failed. A conscious spending plan, on the other hand, is a bottom-up, personalized strategy. We begin by identifying your fixed expenses, the non-negotiable costs like rent or mortgage, insurance, and loan payments. These are the things that have to be paid no matter what. After that, instead of dictating strict categories, we look at the remainder of your income and divide it into three main buckets: financial goals, guilt-free spending, and variable expenses. This simple framework allows you to prioritize what matters most, while giving yourself the freedom to live without constant guilt. The key difference lies in the guilt-free spending bucket. This is where the magic happens. A traditional budget would label this miscellaneous or fun money, and often put a tiny restrictive limit on it. A conscious spending plan acknowledges that this money is essential for your happiness and well-being. It's for the coffee runs, the spontaneous dinners out, the new pair of shoes you've been eyeing, the concert tickets, or a last-minute road trip. It's money you have already decided to spend on what you want, when you want, without having to track it. This is the single most freeing part of the plan. It eliminates the soul-crushing chore of tracking every minor transaction and the associated guilt. By consciously allocating a portion of your income to this category, you are giving yourself permission to spend, which makes the act of saving and paying bills feel less like a chore and more like a means to an end. It removes the resentment that so often builds up when you feel like you're constantly saying no to yourself. The conscious spending plan also prioritizes your financial goals right at the beginning. This is another major departure from traditional budgeting. Most budgets focus on saving whatever is left over after all your expenses are paid. This is a flawed approach because often there's nothing left over. A conscious plan says, pay yourself first. It means that a portion of every paycheck goes directly towards your savings, investments, or debt repayment goals before you even start thinking about your spending. This is a powerful psychological shift. It transforms saving from an afterthought into a priority. It ensures that you are consistently making progress toward your future self, which provides a powerful sense of purpose and motivation. This is where your money truly starts to work for you, not just for your landlord or your credit card company. Ultimately, the biggest difference is in the philosophy: control versus freedom. Traditional budgeting is about control, controlling every dollar, every purchase, every desire. A conscious spending plan is about freedom, the freedom to live your life on your own terms, to spend money on what you value, and to build the future you want without feeling restricted. It's a tool for aligning your money with your life, not a set of rules for making your life conform to your money. This shift is subtle but profound. It's the difference between feeling like you're constantly fighting your own financial desires and feeling like you're in a trusting partnership with your money.
This is what it means to be truly conscious about your spending. It's a system built on trust and self-awareness designed to empower you to live a richer, more intentional life.
So, we've shifted our mindset and we've defined the conscious spending plan. Now it's time to build it. The very first step, the absolute bedrock of this entire system, is a simple but powerful act: getting to know your income and your essentials. This isn't about judgment or shame, it's about clarity. It's about pulling back the curtain and seeing your financial reality for what it truly is, without any filters. Think of it like a doctor's visit. You can't treat a patient without first getting a clear, honest diagnosis of their health. You need to know their vital signs, their heart rate, their blood pressure, before you can create a treatment plan. The same goes for your money. You need to know your financial vital signs. This is the foundation from which all future decisions will be made. Without this step, everything else is just guesswork. Let's start with income. This might seem obvious, but you'd be surprised how many people have a vague idea of what they make, but don't know the exact after-tax number. You need to know your take-home pay. This is your net income, the number that actually hits your bank account each month. If you have multiple sources of income, a full-time job, a side hustle, freelance work, you need to add them all up. Get a clear, precise number. This is the amount of money you have to work with, your total monthly financial power. Don't include pre-tax deductions like retirement contributions or health insurance payments, as that money is already gone before you even see it. We're only concerned with the money that's available to you for living expenses and financial goals. This is your starting point, your baseline, your launch pad. Once you have a crystal clear picture of your total monthly income, the next step is to confront your essentials. These are the fixed, non-negotiable expenses you have every single month. They are the costs of simply existing. These are not things you can easily change or cut back on. We're talking about things like your rent or mortgage payment, your car payment, student loan payments, insurance premiums, and utilities like electricity, gas, and internet. Think of these as your financial bedrock. If you don't pay them, there are serious consequences. These expenses are also incredibly important because they dictate your financial baseline. They tell you how much it costs just to keep the lights on and a roof over your head. You can't start planning for the future until you know how much of your current income is already spoken for. So how do you figure this out? Simple. You're going to get honest with yourself. Get out your bank statements, pull up your credit card bills, and list every single recurring essential expense. Be meticulous. Don't skip anything. Write it all down in a list. Don't rely on your memory. Our memories are notoriously bad when it comes to money. We tend to remember the good things and forget the monthly drains. This is a moment for radical honesty. It's not about judging yourself, it's about gaining clarity. You might feel a little overwhelmed at first, and that's okay. This is a normal part of the process. It's like cleaning out a cluttered closet. It gets messier before it gets organized. The key is to see this as an act of self-care and empowerment, not a punishment. You are taking control by gaining knowledge. Knowledge is power, and in this case, it's financial power. Let's walk through some of these essentials in more detail. Your housing is likely your biggest expense. This includes your rent or mortgage, plus any HOA fees or property taxes. Then you have your utilities, which can vary slightly, but are generally a fixed cost each month. We're talking about electricity, water, gas, and your internet or cable bill. After that, we have your transportation costs. This could be a car payment, insurance, gas, and parking fees, or for others, it might be a monthly public transit pass. Next, think about your debt payments. This includes any minimum payments on student loans, car loans, or credit card debt. Finally, consider your insurance premiums: health, car, renters, or life insurance. These are all the things that you absolutely have to pay to maintain your current lifestyle. This is your financial foundation. It's the cost of admission to your life. Once you have all of these numbers laid out, add them up. This is your total monthly essential expenditure. Now, here's where the real magic happens. You're going to take your total monthly income and subtract this number. The result is the amount of money you have left over after all of your bills are paid. This is your financial freedom fund. This is the money you have to work with for everything else:
Your financial goals, your guilt-free spending, your groceries, your dining out, your entertainment. It's what's left for you to consciously allocate and decide how to use. This is the number that truly matters. It's the number that you will use to build your conscious spending plan in the next steps. This initial step is crucial because it's a reality check. It prevents you from living in a state of financial amnesia where you're constantly surprised by where your money is going. It forces you to confront the reality of your fixed costs, which are often much higher than we want to admit. But it's also incredibly liberating. It gives you a clear, unambiguous picture of your financial life. You're no longer operating in the dark. You are in control because you are informed. This is the first step toward becoming the master of your money instead of its servant. It's about building a solid, unshakable foundation before you start building the rest of the house. Don't skip this step. Don't gloss over it. Be meticulous, be honest, and you will set yourself up for success in all the steps that follow. We've all known that person. Maybe we've even been that person, the one who decides to go on a financial cleanse. They've read an article or watched a video, and they've been told that to get ahead, you must cut out all non-essentials. No more daily coffee, no more eating out, no more little treats. They become a financial monk, living a life of absolute asceticism. For the first week, they feel great. They look at their bank account and see the numbers holding steady. They feel virtuous, in control. But then, day 10 rolls around. They have a rough morning at work, they're tired, and the thought of going home to cook dinner is just too much. They see a cozy cafe, and the smell of fresh brewed coffee is too tempting. They go in, and not only do they buy the coffee, but they also grab a pastry and maybe a sandwich, telling themselves, "What the heck, I've been so good." That single moment of rebellion turns into a financial free-for-all for the rest of the week, and they end up spending far more than they ever would have if they had just allowed themselves that small daily pleasure from the start. This is the classic deprivation trap. Traditional budgeting often sets us up for failure by telling us we have to give up the things that bring us small moments of joy. It's an unsustainable, miserable approach. It treats our discretionary spending like a cancer that must be removed, when in reality, it's often the lifeblood of our happiness. This is why step 2 of the conscious spending plan is so crucial. This step is about building in a safety valve, a psychological pressure release, a category for spending that is completely, unapologetically guilt-free. We are literally giving ourselves permission to enjoy our money. This isn't a small, insignificant part of the plan. It is the very engine that makes the whole system work. Without this permission, you are building a financial house of cards, one that will inevitably come crashing down the moment life gets difficult or you simply want to have a little fun. The core idea of guilt-free spending is to acknowledge that we are human. We're not robots who can live on a diet of bills and savings accounts. We need moments of joy, of spontaneity, of simple pleasure. This category is designed to satisfy that need so that you don't feel deprived and rebel against your own plan. This is the money for your social life, your hobbies, your shopping, your personal care, and all those random little purchases that make life enjoyable. It's for the spontaneous dinner with friends, the new book you've been wanting to read, the concert tickets, or a new pair of shoes. It's money that, once allocated, is yours to spend without a single moment of tracking or a shred of guilt. You get to spend it however you want, whenever you want. You don't have to save receipts, you don't have to log transactions, and you don't have to beat yourself up about it later. The work of conscious allocation has already been done. You have already said yes to yourself. This is a complete reversal of the traditional mindset. A traditional budget might have a line item for dining out, with a strict $50 limit. And if you spend $60, you feel like a failure. The conscious spending plan says, I've allocated X dollars for my guilt-free spending. I know that number is responsible, and now I get to use it as I see fit. This freedom is incredibly empowering. It turns spending from an act of anxiety and fear into an act of self-care. It changes the narrative from "I'm not allowed to buy this" to "I am choosing to use my money in a way that brings me joy."
This distinction is subtle but profoundly important. It gives you back the power. You are in control of your choices, and you are acting with intention, not with a sense of being told what to do. So, how do you figure out this magical number? It's simple, but it requires honesty. You've already done step 1, so you know your total monthly income, and you know your total monthly essentials. The number we're working with now is your financial freedom fund, the amount left over after your essentials are paid. This is your canvas. The guilt-free spending is one of the first and most important strokes of paint on that canvas. This isn't a predetermined number, it's a personal choice. You might start by looking at your past spending on non-essentials over the last few months to get a baseline. If you were spending $500 a month on coffee, dining out, and hobbies, and that made you feel happy and not financially stressed, then maybe that's a good starting point. If that number gave you a lot of anxiety, you might choose a lower number. The key is to find a number that feels both generous and responsible. It should be an amount that allows you to enjoy life, but also leaves enough room for your other financial goals. There is no magic percentage. This number is unique to you and your lifestyle. This process is so freeing because it forces you to prioritize your joy. You are consciously making room in your financial life for the things that make you happy. You are building a system that is designed for your success, not for your punishment. By intentionally setting aside this money, you are removing the constant struggle, the daily fight with yourself. You are telling your brain, it's okay, you have a budget for fun, and you're allowed to use it. This psychological shift is what makes the conscious spending plan work where traditional budgets fail. It's not about being a financial robot. It's about being a conscious, intentional human being who uses their money to live a full and happy life. This isn't just a step in a plan. It's a commitment to a life free of financial guilt and anxiety. It is the core of what makes this approach not just effective, but truly sustainable and enjoyable for the long haul.
We've all been there. You get paid and you have the best intentions. This month, you're finally going to put money into your savings account. You tell yourself you'll transfer a certain amount at the end of the week or at the end of the month. You make a mental promise. But then life happens. A friend's birthday comes up, you need new tires, or you just decide you deserve a treat after a long week. The money you planned on saving gets spent, and your good intentions disappear. The month ends, and your savings account looks exactly the same as it did before. This is not a failure of willpower, it's a failure of system. We are not wired to rely on willpower alone for our financial success. Willpower is a limited resource, and it's easily depleted by the stresses and temptations of daily life. The biggest reason people fail to save consistently is because they treat saving as an afterthought. They save what's left over, and in a world full of possibilities and temptations, there's rarely anything left over. This is where the powerful principle of pay yourself first comes into play. It flips the script on traditional financial planning. Instead of paying everyone else first, your landlord, your credit card company, your utility providers, you pay yourself. You make saving a priority, not a possibility. This is the heart of step 3, and it's the single most effective habit you can build. It ensures that your financial goals are being funded consistently, reliably, and without relying on your emotional state or your willpower at the end of the month. The magic of this step is that we're going to automate it. We're going to remove the human element of hesitation, procrastination, and temptation. Automation makes saving effortless. Think about it. Once you set it up, you never have to think about it again. The money moves from your checking account to your savings or investment accounts automatically, just like magic. You don't have to remember to do it, and you don't have to make a choice every single time a paycheck hits your account. The decision is made once, and it's executed flawlessly every time. This is a powerful form of financial self-care. It's an act of setting up your future self for success without having to constantly nag your present self. So how do you do this? It's much simpler than you think. You've already done the hard work of knowing your income and your essentials in step 1. In step 2, you determined your guilt-free spending. Now we're going to determine how much of your remaining financial freedom fund you will allocate to your savings and investments.
The amount is entirely up to you and your goals. Do you want to build an emergency fund? Are you saving for a down payment on a house? Or are you looking to start investing for retirement? Your goals will determine the amount, but the key is to be consistent. We are aiming for a sustainable amount that you can commit to every single month without fail. Once you have that number in mind, you are going to set up an automatic transfer. Log into your online banking and schedule a recurring transfer to a separate high-yield savings account or a retirement investment account. You can set this up to happen the day after your paycheck lands in your checking account. This way, the money is moved out before you even have a chance to see it and think about spending it. It's truly a set-it-and-forget-it system. This isn't just about moving money. It's a powerful psychological hack. When the money's gone from your checking account, you no longer consider it available to spend. The amount you see in your checking account is your new reality, and you'll naturally adjust your spending habits to fit within that amount. Let's be clear. This isn't just about savings. It's about building long-term wealth. In addition to an emergency fund, you should consider automating contributions to a retirement account, like a 401k or an IRA. These are tax-advantaged accounts that are specifically designed for long-term growth. When you automate these contributions, you are not just saving, you are investing in your future self. You are building a nest egg that will grow over time thanks to the power of compounding interest. This is how the wealthy build their wealth, not through sheer willpower, but through smart automated systems that work for them 24/7. It's a fundamental difference between working for your money and having your money work for you. This step is the linchpin of the entire conscious spending plan. It's the bridge between having good intentions and actually making progress. It takes the guesswork and the willpower out of the equation and replaces them with a reliable, automated system. It ensures that no matter what happens in a given month, a stressful week, an unexpected expense, or a sudden urge to splurge, your most important financial goals are being met. You can rest easy knowing that while you're enjoying your guilt-free spending and paying your bills, you are also building a more secure and prosperous future for yourself. This is the definition of effortless progress. The beauty of this system is that it frees up mental space. You no longer have to constantly worry about whether you're saving enough. You no longer have to feel guilty about spending on yourself because you know that your savings and investments are already taken care of. You have permission to live your life because you've already made the conscious decision to fund your future. This is the essence of financial freedom, knowing that your system is working for you and that you are consistently moving towards your goals without a daily battle with yourself. This is how you stop just getting by and start truly getting ahead. It's a simple change with a massive, life-altering impact.
Imagine a ship sailing across a vast ocean. On a clear, beautiful day, a small, unnoticed hole opens up in the hull. At first, it's nothing. A few drops of water trickle in. You barely even notice them. But over time, those drops become a stream. The stream becomes a flow. Eventually, that tiny hole, once so insignificant, has let in enough water to threaten the entire vessel, weighing it down and making it impossible to sail. That ship is your financial life, and those tiny holes are financial waste. They're the small, silent leaks that slowly, almost invisibly, sink your potential for wealth. The reality is, most of us have these leaks. They're everywhere. They hide in plain sight in our monthly bank statements. They're the streaming service you signed up for but never use. The gym membership you pay for every month but haven't visited in 6. The subscription box you forgot to cancel after the free trial ended. The multiple food delivery app fees that feel like pocket change in the moment but add up to hundreds of dollars a year. On their own, none of these things seem like a big deal. They're just a few dollars here, a few dollars there. Our brain rationalizes them away. We tell ourselves, it's only $5 a month, what's the big deal? The big deal is that $5 becomes $50, and $50 becomes $500, and soon a significant chunk of your income is just evaporating into thin air, powering services and habits that don't bring you any real value or joy. This isn't about judging your choices. It's about becoming a financial detective. You are going to put on your detective hat and look for the clues.
Grab your last 3 months of bank and credit card statements and go through them with a fine-tooth comb. Look for any recurring charges. I promise you, you will find things you've completely forgotten about. You'll see that streaming service from 3 years ago. You'll see the software subscription you needed for a single project. You'll see the monthly fees for an app you downloaded once and deleted. This process is not about deprivation. It's about reclaiming your power. It's about taking back control of the money that has been slipping through your fingers without you even realizing it. Every single one of these leaks you plug is more money you can now consciously allocate toward your goals, toward your guilt-free spending, or toward a more important purpose. This is the first step in truly optimizing your money, making it work for you instead of for forgotten services. As you become more mindful of these small leaks, you'll also start to notice your habits: the daily coffee run, the spontaneous purchase at the checkout counter, the frequent takeout orders. Again, these aren't inherently bad, but they can be a source of significant financial drain if they are not intentional. This step is about asking a simple question: is this purchase serving my goals, or is it just a habit? If you love your daily coffee and it brings you genuine joy and energy, then maybe that's a part of your guilt-free spending. But if you're buying it out of habit and you don't even really enjoy it, then it's a leak you can easily plug. This entire process is about awareness. You can't change what you don't acknowledge. By becoming aware of these small, mindless expenditures, you're empowering yourself to make better, more conscious choices with your money. Now, if a small, steady leak can sink a ship, imagine a gaping hole. That gaping hole is debt. While unnecessary expenses are a slow and silent drain, unmanaged debt is a fast-moving, destructive force that can completely derail your financial life. Debt is a silent thief of wealth. It works against you 24/7, even when you're sleeping. Every day, the interest on that credit card balance grows, and every month you are paying a fee for money you've already spent. The banks and credit card companies are incredibly good at making you feel okay about this. They encourage you to make low minimum payments, which is the very trap that keeps you in a cycle of debt for years, sometimes decades. You can pay hundreds, even thousands of dollars in interest without ever making a dent in the original balance. This is a debt trap, and it's one of the biggest obstacles to true financial freedom. When we talk about debt, we're primarily focusing on high-interest consumer debt, like credit cards, payday loans, or store credit cards. These are the kinds of debt that have aggressive interest rates that make it almost impossible to get ahead. You might think you're making progress because you're paying every month, but if the interest rate is high enough, a significant portion of your payment is going straight to the bank's pocket, not to paying off your principal. This is why you must confront your debt directly and aggressively. Just as you looked for the small leaks in your spending, you need to look at your debt statements and see the true picture. Add up all your credit card balances. Look at the interest rates. Calculate how much you're paying each month in just interest alone. It's often a shocking number, but it's a necessary one to know. This is not about shame. It's about clarity and courage. You can't defeat an enemy you don't know. You have to face the number, acknowledge its power, and then create a plan to defeat it. Confronting debt is not about living a life of deprivation. It's about making a powerful, conscious decision to stop the bleeding. It's about choosing to direct your hard-earned money toward building your future instead of paying for your past. By eliminating waste and aggressively tackling high-interest debt, you are literally giving yourself a massive raise. The money that was once going to unnecessary subscriptions and interest payments can now be funneled into your savings, your investments, or to paying off your debt even faster. This is how you change the game. This is how you move from being financially stuck to being financially powerful. This is the final piece of the foundation you must lay before you can truly start building a life of financial freedom. It's an act of courage and an act of self-love. You are not just paying off bills, you are reclaiming your financial future.
Imagine a single snowflake falling on a mountaintop. It seems insignificant on its own, just a tiny crystal of frozen water. But then another falls, and another. They begin to accumulate, slowly at first, then faster and faster, until they form a small snowball. That snowball begins to roll downhill, picking up more snow, getting bigger and faster with every rotation. Before you know it,
that one tiny snowflake has become an unstoppable avalanche, a force of nature that is massive and powerful. This is the power of compounding. It's the silent, magical force that turns small, consistent actions into massive, life-altering results over time. Just as a single snowflake can become an avalanche, a consistent, conscious financial habit can build you incredible wealth. This is where your conscious spending plan truly comes alive. It's no longer just about managing your money. It's about using it as a tool to build a life of abundance and security that scales over time. This is the goal of Step 5, to move from being a diligent money manager to a strategic wealth builder, thinking not just about this month, but about your legacy. We've already done the hard work. We've set up our system, we know our income and our essentials. We've given ourselves permission for guilt-free spending, and we've automated our savings and investments. We've eliminated the waste and confronted our debt. All of these steps have freed up money that was once being spent without purpose. Now, we are going to direct that money with intention, and that's where the real magic of wealth building begins. The small, consistent contributions you've been making to your savings and investment accounts are the snowflakes. Now, it's time to watch them become the snowball. This step is about embracing the long game. Wealth is rarely built overnight. It's built brick by brick, habit by habit, over many years. The key is consistency and time. Think about your money like a garden. You plant seeds, your initial investments, and then you consistently water them, your automated contributions. You give them sunlight, the growth of the market, and then you let them grow. You don't pull them out of the ground every day to check on their progress. You trust the process. Over time, those tiny seeds grow into mature, strong plants, and eventually a whole lush garden that provides for you. This is a mindset that extends beyond just your personal finances. It's a generational mindset. A conscious spending plan isn't just about ensuring you're financially secure in retirement. It's about setting an example and building a foundation that can be passed down. Think about the impact you could have by teaching your children or grandchildren these same principles. By building a solid financial foundation now, you can create opportunities for your family for generations to come. You are not just making yourself wealthy, you are creating a legacy. You are breaking a cycle of financial stress and replacing it with a cycle of prosperity and wisdom. This is a profound and powerful act. So, how do you scale wealth? It starts with the foundation you've already laid. Every month, a portion of your income is automatically being invested. But as your income grows, or as you pay off debt and free up even more money, you can increase those automated contributions. This is called scaling your wealth. It's the conscious decision to increase your investments as your financial situation improves. You are no longer just maintaining, you're actively growing. Maybe you increase your retirement contribution from 5% of your income to 10%. Maybe you start a separate investment account to save for a vacation home or a special project. You are using the principles of your plan to go from managing your money to truly making it work for you. This process is about being a savvy steward of your resources. You're not looking for get-rich-quick schemes. You're looking for consistent, reliable growth. You are leveraging the power of time and consistency to create a future that is abundant and free. This is the ultimate payoff. This is what all the previous steps were building towards. It's the difference between having a good plan and truly living a life of financial freedom. The final step is to trust the process, stay consistent, and let time and compounding do their work. It's an inspiring, humbling, and incredibly rewarding journey. It's the journey of turning small, conscious habits into a life of purpose, security, and wealth. You are not just building a financial plan, you are building a legacy.
And so, we arrive at the end of our journey, but the beginning of yours.
We began by asking a question that so many of us struggle with. Why does it feel like we're treading water financially, even when we're earning well? We discovered that the problem isn't a lack of willpower, but a flawed system, the traditional budget, a financial straitjacket built on restriction and guilt. We realized that to truly get ahead, we had to stop fighting our money and start working with it. We completely reframed our thinking in the mindset shift, moving from the idea of a budget as punishment to a plan of freedom. We learned that true financial discipline isn't about deprivation, but about intentionality. It's about giving ourselves permission to spend on what we love while consciously choosing to cut back on what doesn't serve us. This new mindset changes the entire game, turning a chore into an empowering act of self-care. It replaces guilt and anxiety with confidence and clarity. Then we built the foundation of our conscious spending plan, a simple, powerful framework that puts you back in the driver's seat. We started with step 1, getting radically honest about our income and our essential expenses, the non-negotiable costs of living. This clarity provided the solid ground on which we could build everything else. We saw that what truly matters is our financial freedom fund, the money left over after the bills are paid, the money we get to decide how to use. With that foundation in place, we moved to step 2, which is all about joy. We allocated a portion of our money to guilt-free spending, a fund that we can spend on whatever we want, whenever we want, without a shred of guilt or the tedious chore of tracking every penny. This single step is the psychological safety valve that makes the entire plan sustainable and enjoyable for the long haul. It acknowledges our humanity and ensures we're building a financial life we actually want to live. Then came the most powerful step of all. Step 3, automating savings and investments. We embraced the principle of pay yourself first, removing the need for willpower by setting up our savings and investments to happen automatically. We learned that wealth isn't built on good intentions, but on consistent, automated action. This is how you stop just getting by and start truly getting ahead, with your money working for you 24/7. In step 4, we became financial detectives, searching for the small financial leaks and confronting the big ones. We talked about how to eliminate unnecessary waste, like forgotten subscriptions, and how to aggressively tackle high-interest debt that silently steals our wealth. We realized that by plugging these holes, we're not just saving money, we're reclaiming our power and giving ourselves a massive raise. And finally, we reached step 5, the ultimate goal, scaling wealth over time. We understood the magic of compounding, how small, consistent actions grow into a powerful avalanche of wealth. We learned to think not just in terms of months, but in terms of decades and generations, using our conscious spending plan as a tool to build a lasting legacy of abundance and freedom. This is more than just a financial plan. It's a blueprint for a richer, more intentional life. It gives you control, not by restricting you, but by empowering you. It gives you freedom, not to be reckless, but to be deliberate and confident in every financial decision you make. And it gives you a clear, powerful path to building wealth, not through complicated schemes, but through simple, consistent, and conscious habits. The journey to financial freedom isn't about getting rich overnight. It's about building a better relationship with your money, one conscious decision at a time. This plan is designed to be your guide, your partner, and your path. It's time to stop living in a state of financial anxiety and start living a life of purpose and prosperity. It's time to become the master of your money once and for all. So, where do you start? You start today. Take the first step. Get out a piece of paper or open up a spreadsheet. Get to know your income and your essentials. If this video has inspired you, and I truly hope it has, I have a few simple asks.
First, if you found this helpful, hit that like button. It tells me you want more content like this, and it helps spread the message to others who need it. Second, share this video with one person you care about who is struggling with their money. You might just change their life. And finally, let me know in the comments below, what's one single change you're going to make to start your conscious spending journey? I read every single one, and I can't wait to see your progress. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.